You mentioned, because I've read your book, you mentioned that when we hit an internal brick wall, those friction points are actually points of access for real transformation. For
Yes.
the high capacity leader who has learned to hide their private anxiety behind professional achievements, we could just have the best painted masks, can't we?
Yes.
Well, everything feels like it's shaking underneath us. We have this
Yeah.
smile.
Yes.
So, what does a practically does it look like on Monday morning to drop the performance mask, face the raw discomfort, and let truth override the facts?
I think the first place is to have a safe avenue to do so. When I was a vice president in corporate America and leading a sales team or leading a company that was in bankruptcy back to profitability and things like that, if I had just went in there and just started spouting stuff like that, I would have got I don't know if I'd have even gotten to be there to get the new owners, and not that it was good. But anyways, like one of the things, I'll give you an example. We would get in these meetings every single day, 5 days a week, for at least an hour and a half. The whole leadership team would get together in the conference room, and it was a constant complaint session from everybody. What's going bad? What's going bad? What's going bad? So believing what I believe, learning what I had learned up until that point, I, I, I started bringing in there and saying, listen, is there anything going good? Is there anything that we could talk about that's going good? And the entire place fought me on it. That, like, the entire team that was in there, even the president of the company started calling me Mr. Over Optimistic. So now I'm trying to help people to see outside of the problem, to start looking towards the solution. And they're going, okay, Mr. Over Optimistic. And I hear them teasing about me and like a few times I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. The heck with it, and I wanted to give up, and God wouldn't let me, and finally one day we were in there, and this is like a month and a half into it, Kristen. And and I just hit my hand on the table just out of frustration. I didn't plan or anything. And I was just like, can we list one thing that's going good in all of this? Just one thing. And the guy that handles the small parts, he goes, all right, I'll throw one out there. He goes, we were having like a 30% scrap rate on these parts and stuff. And a couple of my guys got together and they figured out how we can process them differently. And it brought our scrap down into the teens. And so everybody's just looking at me like, okay. Like, I mean, to me, that was a success. You dropped it from 30% down into the teens. Well, a guy on the other side of the room, he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, this guy managed over the larger parts, like up to 25,000-pound castings, things like that. So he goes, what was that, the problem? And he told him, he goes, we got the same problem over there. We got a 20-some% scrap rate. He goes, after this, let's go out there. So they end up hooking up. They go through the whole thing. They come back the next week, and the guy with the large parts, he's going, there's something to all this optimism. He goes, I made the same corrections he told me about, and I'm in single digit scrap rates right now running this stuff. Well, then people started changing the teasing stuff, but it still wasn't an open thing. Like, my office was adjacent to the conference room. And so after the meeting, people would walk out and I'd see them wait until the hallway was clear. And then they'd come in my office and shut the door real quick because they didn't want people to see them talking to me and stuff, and I'm battling with ego through this whole process here, because part of me is like, the heck with you. You don't want to hear it, then no, forget, but God is more powerful than I am when I allow him to be, and I want him to be. And so I have these conversations, and all of a sudden within 3 months, we had a company come in, a private equity group come in, dump $12 million in operation, and overnight took us from a 3-day a month operation to a 5-day a week operation. And the whole thing kind of grew from there. And then I left, resigned, and to do what I do today. So, but yeah, we have those things that happen like that, and it's that guidance, comfort level. That wasn't my comfort level back then. The ego, I talked about the way the ego stepped up, the way I'd spend evenings like kind of cursing people and stuff for like the way they were towards me and stuff like that, and feeling singled out and all that stuff that hurts the feelings and stuff. But it's really just our ego, because if I'm close to God, it doesn't matter what people say about me one bit. I know how God loves me, and that's more powerful than what anybody else can ever have for me.